Yo, you're rocking with your boy Bros from Podcasthead, where we discuss any and everything. Be sure to tap into our live shows every Tuesday for our Pass the Aux show and every Thursday for our Thriller Thursdays, when we dive into relationships and much more.
Thank y'all for tuning in with us. We got a great episode for y'all today, or should we say an interview with the infamous D Brown.
Hand claps in.
Clap it up.
I'm your boy B Glizzy, aka B Glenn.
I'm your boy Bros. You know what it is.
Boy Solo Dolo Swang, and I got my brother like no other, D Brown in the building.
All right.
So look, if you're tuning in, this is going to be a special segment because we're starting now to start going live, and we're going to start doing some pre-recordings on dope people that are in our lives, dope people that have businesses, dope people that are in ministry, dope people that are just doing something dope. So if you are doing something great, dope, fabulous, DM us on TikTok, on Instagram, and we'll come and interview you if you're in this specific area.
Yeah, about to say, I don't know if we're going to come everywhere. We'll do an interview.
Catch what we can.
So with that being said is that I think this is going to be a special guest because this is actually, it's like a brother. I mean, he is a brother. And this has been a long time coming because he's been wanting to come on this show with us for a long time. And we finally got my brother here. We finally got this joker in the building. So first, I'm going to let him go ahead. I'm going to let him introduce himself. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into this thing.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
First, I want to say thank y'all for inviting me here. I mean, it's an awesome privilege to be here. Good to see brothers coming together. Nothing against no other race, but you know, one thing about black people, man, we quick to put each other down and put each other in a box. So to see black guys coming together like this is nothing short of a blessing. So indeed. I'm grateful to be here. It's awesome. I mean, I've been in the background kind of looking in and seeing everything fresh. I mean, the way y'all do things is real professional, and it's a blessing, man. So I'm D Brown, Pastor Brown, whatever you want to call me. We here, and I'm just looking to have a good time, man. Whatever questions y'all want to ask, shoot away. I'm here.
Indeed. All right.
So the question of the day is, how was your Resurrection Sunday? We're going to go there.
That's a good thought. My Resurrection Sunday was good, man. I didn't do a whole lot. I fellowshipped. I was actually out of town. I was in Arkansas. I had a service to do out there, and it was really good, man. I enjoyed it. Everything was well. I mean, I don't have no complaints. Okay. Was really off the chain, just enjoying life, man, you know.
Indeed.
Nice.
So, being out in Arkansas and, you know, doing ministry out in Arkansas, how was the actual, just the settings? Like, how was it? Was it nice out there? Was it raining, or did you have to do it?
It was the weather was pretty good, man. The weather was good. I mean, we had probably like maybe one rainy day, but for the most part, it was good, man. It was Jesus weather out there. It was perfect. It was perfect out there, man. I just was happy to be away, just enjoying myself, and just you know how when you go somewhere new, you feel like a tourist, so you kind of looking at everything like it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like you just trying to see the sights and just be around everything. But it was cool, man. Good vibes, good people, good food, you know.
For all you don't know, me and my bro D, we all go way back. You know, we go way back. Especially me and my brothers over here, but we go way back too in our like early 20s when we first met, and he was doing ministry then when I first met him. So it was just a pleasure to have him up here because understand it. The reason why he want to go by D Brown is because just how everybody looks at a pastor. He want to let people know, like, yo, I'm down to earth.
Yeah, it ain't all about the titles and stuff.
Yeah, man. You get what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm a regular individual like everybody else. I put my shoes on, my pants on, like everybody else. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to bring you up here because number one is he got a ministry that he does. It's called Supply the Need, and I want you to talk about Supply the Need a little bit. Okay. Let people know what you do with Supply the Need.
All right. Well, Supply the Need is actually emerged into what we call Mission for America. Me and a pastor friend of mine got together because we were both kind of like doing some of the same stuff as far as outreach and helping the homeless and going to prisons and doing, a lot of outreach in the streets out of the box kind of stuff. And so we merged our ministries together and we call it Mission for America. She's a white female, country is all get out. I'm a black city dude. So we had no background together. But when we came together, it was all, based on one spirit. And that was just helping people, helping communities, helping people abroad, no matter where we went, whether we was in Panama or down in DC in the city. We just traveled the world. And her and I still do ministry to this day, as well as her husband. And it's just been awesome, man. Just helping people, being there for people, really closing the gaps to a lot of racial barriers, because people judged us all the time, still to this day. If they see us out together, they kind of frown their nose up, because people are really closed-minded to really understanding what, not so much just what ministry look like, but what we call family. And I literally would lay my life down for that white country lady. And we make a lot of racial jokes, and nothing against anybody, but we constantly try to break the barriers of how people stigmatize racism and how they view people from different races and backgrounds and stuff, and just the small-mindedness sometimes. So we do our best to constantly break up that admiral of people's low-level thinking when it comes to different races together. But the ministry is just based on multicultural, helping the homeless, helping the need, and just doing things out the box. So that's what we stand for.
I want to ask you this, because we just did a segment. We just had a segment, and I want to segue this into what you're doing, because if y'all know, he does Mission for America. He goes out and he feeds the need. Yeah. He feeds the families. So we just had a segment on somebody going on a first date, right?
Wow.
Going on a first date of feeding the need. And you was a part of that segment. You was actually in the back in the scenes. Let me ask you this, man. How do you feel about what we talked about with that last segment? Y'all go check that segment out. It's a fire segment. Y'all go check that segment out about the specific lady was upset because she goes out and feeds the need every month, and there was a guy that wanted to go on a first date and just say, hey, let's do it together. Like, what's your take on it?
What, going to feed the need and going out? What you mean?
Yeah, that's a first date. I think that was it.
Oh, by doing ministry for a first date.
Yeah.
I would frown upon that. Because I feel like when you doing ministry and you getting to know somebody, I feel like, ministry is important, but the person is still a person. We men of God, we women of God. We're not God. We don't walk around floating all day. We have a life. We have we got flesh, we have feelings. So I don't feel like that would be a accurate thing to do on the first date. I feel like you go out to a restaurant, you do what normal people do. And then when you get the feel of somebody, then you kind of step into that. You can be inviting a witch out on the first date to do ministry. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that believe in voodoo, somebody that believe in stuff that you don't even believe into. So you got to be very careful how you do those kind of things. So get to know the person first, I would say.
She get hot as soon as she step in the
wear a belt so she get in there.
What's that movie?
We going there? Yeah.
What is that? Let's take it outside.
Got to be more careful.
So I know that Solo had mentioned that you also did music as well.
Yes.
Okay. Could you speak a little to the music that you were doing? Or?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, this dude go way back, man. We've been doing CDs and music and videos and all kinds of stuff since probably about 2007 or 8, somewhere around there.
2006.
Well, maybe 6. And we used to do a lot of gospel rap and traveling. I mean, interviews, podcasts. Way back then, we were doing that stuff with colleges and stuff. And he was really the one that inspired me. I was always like doing music before I was saved and stuff. But when I got saved, and we got around, and I knew he did music, I was always just doing stuff. And at one point, we just said, let's come together, man. And that's when me and him really just started doing music. And he had a studio, always had a studio. Y'all know him. He always got a studio somewhere. Even if it's in the car, he got something somewhere. He gonna have
right
something somewhere, right, to make a beat, a sound, or something.
He'd be like singing this mic.
So it was him that
I know the wire coming out the tailpipe. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we got that covered. The smoke, don't worry about it. It was him that inspired me a lot to do music, and so it was a lot of gospel rap. And I don't know how many CDs we done. We probably done about 2 or 3 CDs. I think it was. Wasn't it?
Actually, I want to say this. So for everybody who don't know, if you're just coming through, you got my homies right here. That's Podcasthead. We've been singing together since we were like in our teens, but we never got a chance to like really put music out in the atmosphere, like until we got a little older, right? Putting in like on social media, like as SoundCloud or the little things that we were doing, but we were like mediocre, right? So, and we all did it singularly, like you know what I mean? So I would say being with him, he helped me get my first album out on all platforms. Like I never had any music out on any platforms. My first album was with him. You see what I'm saying? And it was a gospel album. And it was so crazy because my first gospel, this is what's weird about this, okay? This is what's really weird about this. I always wanted my first gospel album to be with my homies because we've been singing together for a long time with the song. So matching with him, he was like my brother. Like my brother raps. I'm not a rapper, but I make beats. I produce beats. So I was producing music for him, and I felt like, well, maybe I need to sing on these things. So it opened my eyes to a different realm of how to reach other people. You know what I'm saying? In a realm that I never reached. You know what I'm saying? Like I was reaching and talking and ministering to other individuals that were in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And it opened the doors for us to really network and partner with people that really needed to do something different, because in all honesty, a lot of people, you know, kind of frown upon gospel rap in a sense. You know what I'm saying? But because he's so genuine with it and he's so honest with his music, he was bringing in like drones.
We had old people. We had senior citizens.
Yeah, it was drones.
Wow. It was crazy, man.
And I'll never forget, I want to say 2012. And this is powerful. I'm going to say 2012 or 13. I was my daughter was playing soccer. My daughter was playing soccer, and what ended up happening was there was this guy I had seen, and I didn't remember him. I didn't remember him, and he was like, "Yeah, man." He started talking to me about God, and I was like, yeah, you know, I know about God and everything like that. He was like, that's cool, man. He said, well, what do you do? I said, you know, I did music and stuff. So he said, yo, you remind me of this guy, man, back in the day, man. They was doing music up here. It was him and this one guy, man. I mean, they were fire. They were fire with their music. And I was like, oh, yeah, what's their names? He was like, I can't remember. VA something. I don't know. I can't remember. I was like, oh, that's me. He was like, no, it ain't you, bro. Like, it ain't you. And I'm like, no, it's me. He said, no, you wasn't there, bro. This is somebody totally different. They was going somewhere with this. I'm like, I was like, dang, you just gonna care? He was like, I'm just saying, like, they was like on to something. And I said, no, it was me and my brother Damon. He said, that's him. He said, so that was you? I was like, yeah. So it was kind of powerful to hear him say that we were doing something different that nobody was doing. And what he said, that they were not ready. That community was not ready for what we were doing because we were so advanced. Because you have so many people that was frowning upon rap. And, you know what I'm saying, by us doing that, like you said, it opened other doors. And I'll let you expound on that.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, I mean, in this area, you know, some people just close-minded to certain stuff. And we were advanced, and we were doing a lot because we were reaching. Like I said, I was doing outreach stuff as far as like at the senior centers, where I would go there and minister to them and feed them and stuff. And then we would incorporate some rap music with it. And they was embracing it. We had a song called Shake the Devil Off. They up old with their canes and stuff, trying to shake the devil off right with us, literally. Wow. And so the movement was so great, and it was so genuine, and God was a part of it, that people were really embracing it. Like, it wasn't nothing like slight or nothing that it was just something we was trying to do to be seen. It was genuine. I mean, we had people we had drug dealers we would minister to. They would come to this dude's house 3-4 in the morning. Literally. We were going in the traps, minister to them in the trap houses. Weed and drinks and women. I mean, it was crazy, man. Wow. It was literally like a movement that was going on back then.
I want you to.
They couldn't handle it.
I could have got some footage of that.
We do got footage.
That's a segue.
Okay.
That's a segue. No, that's a segue, because I wanted you to expound on our first music video we did. The first music we did in the hood, in the area. Do you remember that?
We was in Charlestown, right?
Yeah, we was around
I remember
here.
some of it.
We was around here.
Yeah, we was in Charlestown, in the hood.
We saw some dudes outside.
Yeah, they were looking at us like we were crazy. Like, man, hey, yo, what y'all doing here? And we was like, man, we here to shoot a gospel video. And if y'all know Larry, y'all know how he is. He ain't backing down. And the dude was like, he was, you know, bucking up a little bit. It was like, look, man, we ain't here for all that, man. We just trying to shoot a video and do what we do, man. And the guy he was looking at us funny for a minute at first. And when he seen that we wasn't like backing out or moving, he was just like, all right, man, y'all, you know, do what y'all do. And before it was all over, they was in the video in the background with us. Like, yeah, like they was like, it was gospel rap, but they was embracing it, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, so it was deep, man. So what was crazy was my real brother was there doing the video, and he was like,
Brian was nervous.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think this is safe.
Yeah, Brian was scared.
He's like, I don't think this is safe. Y'all like, I don't think we should be doing it. Like, let's just go ahead and do the video somewhere else. I was like, nah, this is perfect. This is perfect for what we're doing, because we wanted to be authentic. Yep. So they watching this from the side, and they was like, you're not supposed to be around here. I'm like, no, we good. And then I said, you know what? I want y'all to be in the video. They was like, what? They was like, be in the video. I was like, what we gonna do? I said, stand in and just groove. They was like, well, we ain't hear the song yet. I said, okay, well, we're going to play the song for you. So at the time, I had a bubble.
We both had one. Yeah, we both had a Grandma Keith and
he had a Pontiac, a big Pontiac.
Not like a Floormaster, beautiful, yeah.
So
Roadmaster.
We parked it like that, and we had the trunks open.
Doors open. It was crazy.
Cranking the music. So they was in the hood. They were like, this is really gospel? We like, yeah. They was like, yeah, let's do the video. So they started. They was doing all this stuff.
It was dope.
And
man.
then this is how you know it's powerful, right? Because at the end, they was like, man, we really like what you're doing, man. Y'all got CDs, and we were like, yeah, we got them in the car. So that was my first time, like really,
pushing CDs, all of that, man.
Getting it out there.
We had the CD cut. We had that. It was professional, man.
So,
God gave us wisdom for that.
Gave us crazy wisdom. So I want to say, a month or two later, I'm driving to the gas station, and I see this one dude come out, and I didn't even know who he was. It was one of the guys who was in the video. And I said, hey, he said, hey, what up, boy? Right? He was all excited. He said, I played your joint at a party. I said, what?
It was crazy like that. I promise you.
Now, me, I'm thinking like, hold on, you played my gospel album? He's like, yeah. I said, how did they take it? He said, they loved it. I said, so you never know where your music is going to be played and the message in it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I would have never imagined my music, because like as y'all know, we were singing gospel songs like Commission and
that kind of
stuff to where now he got me in a different realm to where my music is crossing barriers like Kirk Franklin. You know, what I mean? It's crossing barriers to where people are saying, and I'm like, can you do that? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, can you play that? I don't think you can do that. Like, I'm thinking like that's kind of backwards, but it taught me a lot with don't limit what your giftings is, because at the time he opened the door for me to really tap into something that I never tapped into.
Larry started rapping and everything. He wasn't just singing. That dude be singing and rapping like,
now
man,
I'm doing it on songs now. I'm doing it in our music.
Rapping and singing, doing everything. Like,
we don't want to say what he said in our songs, but
keep it for another segment, please, sir.
That was a good one.
For another segment, please.
So how did you get started in the ministry?
That's a good question, man. If I can really be honest, back to how I got saved was extremely powerful and it was extremely unique. I was in the streets real heavy, and I was a drug dealer. And my cousin used to drive the cars for me while I was picking up, dropping off, and doing different illegal stuff. I won't go into detail, but one particular day, my cousin kept talking about this female, and this is how I got saved. And this is crazy what I'm about to tell y'all. He kept talking about this female, and I'm already kind of tired. I don't feel like talking. Really don't want to hear it. And he just kept going on and on about this female. And he was just like, man, she just want to meet me, but she was saying I got to go to church with her, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, all right, man. He talked about it the whole day. I just got tired of it. I was like, all right, man, just come on. If we got to go to church, drop me off, blah, blah, blah. So long story short, the girl invited him to church, and I was with him. And at this time, I was just so tired of just doing the same stuff over and over. Had women, had money, clothes, and you name it, I had it. So I ended up going to church with him that day. And after that day, I never went back to the streets.
Wow.
I found God at that day. Him running, chasing after a woman is how I found God. Wow. And I never went back to the streets
used
after
him as
that.
a vessel.
Yeah, he never came to the church, but God used him as a vehicle to get me in God. Wow. While he in Kuwait now, he's doing real good for himself. But he traveling and got all kinds of good stuff going. But that's how I came into Christ. By my cousin trying to get after the girl, chasing skirts, got me into Christ. So God can use anything, man. So that's how I came in, man. Yeah,
blessing.
And then from there, things started to build. The pastor at the time was he was used to be in the street. So God just worked it out, and it's crazy because his dad bought the pastor that I know before I even knew him. His dad had bought the pastor down from New York and baptized him. I mean, it's just a long, beautiful story how God just orchestrates stuff, and how him and I met years later, and I didn't even know it was the same guy that baptized him and bought his dad. His dad brought him down from New York and stuff, and endorsed his ministry in Virginia.
When I moved down here in this area, I didn't have like any friends. I had nobody I had to talk to, and so I was actually praying for a counselor for my relationship. And when I went to this specific church, he so happened to be there, and we just instantly clicked, became friends because we're the youngest ones in there. We're the youngest people. I mean, there was other ones in there, but they weren't moving like how he was. He was a natural leader. You could tell like something about him was different. So I immediately, clicked up with him, and it was just a blessing. And through that process, it was crazy because as he was telling me about his life story, he was telling me about. As a matter of fact, he wasn't even telling me.
I was on the phone.
He was on the phone with this specific man, this guy, and I'm like, I'm like, who you talking to? He was like, I'm over here on the phone. I'm like, who you talking to? And he was like, I'm talking to somebody, and I'm like, And I said, well, what's his name? He said, you don't know him. You don't know him. I was like, I probably know him. He was like, no, you don't know him. So he said his name. He get mad. It's Bishop Cannon. I was like, oh. I said, I do know him. He was like, you don't know him. And I was like, yeah, my dad. And I told him the story about with my dad. And he was like, I said, ask him. And then the pastor ends up telling him, how we met, how he met my dad. And then my dad, when he finally meets my family for the first time, my father is telling him the story about how that man was in New York, and when he moved here, like he didn't have no ministry up here, no nothing. And my dad drove hours to go pick up this man, and that man never moved back to New York again. And he started his own ministry in Maryland, and
that's how I met him.
And that's how he met him.
And at the time coming into Christ, I was a fugitive because I had warrants. I was on the run for 5 years at the time. So I wasn't just selling drugs and stuff. I was living that life. Yeah. And so when I came in, I talked to the bishop and I let him know my story. And he was just like, I've been to the streets, so I understand. And he was like, just let me know when you're ready to turn yourself in, I'm here. And I said, man, I'm just ready to walk away from everything. I don't care about the money or nothing no more. And he opened the doors to the church. That man ain't know me from nowhere. He said, you can live in the church if you want to. I lived in the church. Walked away from everything and moved in the church and lived in the church. Wow. I said, I'm ready. I'm tired. I said, I'm tired. And it was a fight because religious people, they don't understand. Who is this dude? Where he come from? He fighting up against people he knew for years for somebody like me that he didn't even know. That man just met me and fought for me to stay in the church against the people that always was in the church. And I lived in that church for probably about a year or something. I'm in the church. What else you do in the church? You read and you pray. So that's literally all I did was read and pray. And before you know it, they started just saying, you ready for this leadership? We see you changing. We see this about you. We see that. And then God just started doing stuff, just clicking, just opening doors because I was just changing so fast.
I want you to talk about, and I think this is very vital because there's so many people that won't understand this situation. Like I can't relate to what I'm about to say. And when you were locked up,
I was gonna go there.
You was gonna go there?
Yeah, I was just You was
gonna go there. You was locked up, and what happened when you was locked up when it came to your parents?
So after me growing and getting myself together, I said, all right, I'm ready to turn myself in. And so I initially went, taking my shoestrings out, going to the sheriff's office to turn myself in, and get there. They take me, go through all the rigmarole, and I had to go through different jails and through different systems because at the time I was a hothead. So police get behind me, I'm not pulling over. I was just known to just outrun the police. But when you do that, each state you cross, you got to count for that state. And so when I would turn myself in, I was bouncing from different jail to jail because I was crossing state lines and stuff. And then you had to serve time here, serve time there. So in the process of me serving time and stuff, I was checking on my mom here and there. She was doing good and everything was going good. She was like, son, are you still, doing your church thing and all that? Because I wasn't raised in no church family or nothing, or didn't have any kind of church background at all. Everybody I know was street, dope fiends, street life, and that was the norm. Dysfunction was my normal. And so one particular time I had got a call, and it was my cousins or something saying that my mom had passed, and I lost my mom while I was still incarcerated. Oh, man. And I could not, they wouldn't let me get out because I was a flight risk. So I couldn't even go see her. Wow. So I couldn't even grieve her no kind of way. I'm just in. And you around sharks and wolves and they sense any weakness, you know what time it is. And so trying to grieve that process and trying to handle it the best way I can, and them telling me, look, you got to stay strong in here. You know how it is and blah, blah, blah. 6 months after that, I lost my father. Wow. He was shot in the head, ran over with a car because his lifestyle and the stuff he was in. So that was another hit I had to take to really learn how to, couldn't process. I ain't even process my mother, let alone trying to process my father.
And this is all coming back to God.
Yeah, this is literally all saying I'm gonna serve Christ. This is not a new somebody that's been saved for years. I'm a new convert. So how do you hold on to God and still say, is God real? Why would he take me through this and not have all them thoughts and feelings and emotions and say, forget all of that. If this what it is, I don't want none of that. But for whatever strength and power that was in me, I can't take the credit for myself. God just kept me through that process. I ain't lose my mind. I ain't go slicing people or killing people and just say the hell with life. And I'm going out with a bang type thing. I kept staying focused. And when I got out, God had just taken care of all that stuff, man. And I didn't even have a means to want to, do anything crazy, go back to the streets. And I went back to the church I was affiliated with, and the rest was history. I started traveling, doing ministry, just being everywhere God wanted me to be.
So how long were you incarcerated?
It wasn't long. It was probably about a year or something. I mean, that's long for a lot of people, but the time I could have got
is long.
The time I could have got was a miracle. And the crazy part is I had a public defender because I didn't care about the money. I walked away from everything, but the public defender requested for my record to get expunged because the job I got now I wouldn't be able to have if I had a record. So the public defender had enough sense to say, we want to expunge his record.
Wow.
So I ain't had to pay for that, nothing. So it was a blessing, man.
Blessing for sure.
And I want to step back too a little bit too, because I think it's critical, like in how you were talking about how you came to Christ and everything, because a lot of people, there's a stigma, right? But it's how do I put it? A lot of people don't want to go to churches because they feel like they're going to be judged,
Yes.
or but at the same token, to their defense, some churches do portray that, right?
Oh yeah, and you do get judged some churches,
right? So like you being able to come in your lifestyle, and like you said, that pastor, stepping out and doing what he should do as a pastor, right? Because we all go to church, but just like with Jesus, like you can't, the people who are already there, who already know you, you can't bring more souls to Christ necessarily if you're not touching the ones that really need it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then there was like, it reminded me of a song off of Todd Delaney's album that's called Unchurched, where the guy talks about, that's like one of my favorite songs on there, where he goes, like he essentially just talks about how he looks, and really he asked them to give him a chance. He said, I only want to make it through the altar to see the man, so on and so forth. So it's just, I think that's really really impactful when how you went through what you went through. So
yeah, and to anybody listening or anybody looking, the biggest thing is to fall in love with God first. Don't go to church trying to fall in love with church. Find Christ for yourself, and don't make it about people. Because I could have made it about people that was coming against me when I first came to Christ, but it was something in me that I wanted more. So I looked past them. I could have ran them over, not caring about them, because it was something about my life and where I was at the time. I was just tired of being tired, and I could care less about people. I just wanted something different, and I didn't let them religious people run me away from what I desire for myself, and that was change. That was to do something different. That was to do more than pretty much just where I was. So don't let people knock you off your course and say, oh, I'm church hurt and I'm this hurt. You ain't job hurt. You get up and go to work every day. Why you ain't job hurt? Because you want that money. It's a goal in you, or something, a desire you to say, I want more. And that got to be the same thing with God. Don't let nothing stop you, man. Just keep going. Yeah.
Amen. And that's it's important that you said that too, because a lot of people will use that as an excuse to not go. And then we talked about it too before. Like, it's crazy how the place that is supposed to be a safe haven for you and everybody else, you go to, and a lot of those places are the most judgmental. Yeah, that run, the people who really are in that position. They want to be saved, and then they get turned off because of the judgments and the comments and just things that we've seen go on in church,
which is valid. For sure.
Yo, this your boy Bros. Thanks for tuning in to Podcasthead. We had another good episode. Please make sure you tap into our Thriller Thursdays and our Pastor Aux on Tuesday, where we talk about relationships and much more.
Hey, and like I always say, tell a friend to come on in, and we can be friends. You dig?
This your boy Solo Swing. You can catch us on all platforms: TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, and on Facebook. We making moves, y'all. Y'all be blessed.
We out.